If I asked a room full of women over 60 to bring me the one pair of jeans they were most afraid to wear, I already know which color would appear again and again: white. Curiously, the fear has very little to do with the jeans themselves, because white denim has never judged a woman. It has only revealed her decisions. After a lifetime in design, I've learned that every fabric has its own personality. Wool forgives. Cashmere softens. Linen embraces imperfection with quiet grace. White denim does none of those things. It remembers every choice you made before you left the house. The length of your jacket, the weight of your shoes, the drape of your blouse, the balance of your silhouette, even the confidence in the way you carry yourself. That is why two women can wear nearly identical white jeans, walk into the very same room, and leave behind completely different impressions. One is remembered for her elegance. The other is remembered only for her outfit. To me, that difference has never been about fashion. It has always been about design. Real design is not the art of adding beautiful things. It is the discipline of removing everything that distracts from the woman herself. Here on Evergrey Style, we believe style becomes more meaningful with age, because experience teaches something trends never can. Refinement is quieter than attention, and confidence never needs to announce itself. So today, I don't want to teach you how to wear white jeans. I want to show you why the most elegant women make them almost disappear. Because when an outfit is truly successful, people rarely remember the clothes. They remember the woman who wore them. Before we talk about outfits, jackets, or shoes, I'd like you to forget for just a moment that we're discussing white jeans. Instead, imagine you're standing in a fitting room with mirrors on every wall and bright daylight pouring in from above. Nothing is hidden. Every proportion becomes clearer. Every line feels more honest. That is exactly what white denim does. Not because it is difficult, but because it refuses to participate in illusion. And this is where many women misunderstand the garment. They believe white jeans demand a slimmer body. I don't. I've dressed women with every imaginable shape, height, and proportion throughout my career. Some of the most elegant women I've ever worked with wore a size that fashion magazines rarely celebrated. Yet they walked into every room with remarkable presence. Why? Because elegance has never depended on size. It depends on visual balance. When balance exists, your eye moves naturally from one element to the next. Nothing interrupts the journey. Nothing feels too heavy. Nothing competes for attention. This sounds subtle, but it changes everything. Now here's the part almost nobody talks about. White denim is not asking whether you've gained a few pounds over the years. It is asking whether every piece surrounding it belongs to the same conversation. Does your jacket end where your proportions need it to? Do your shoes support the silhouette? Or stop it? Does your blouse create movement? Or unnecessary volume? Every answer becomes visible. That is why some women describe white jeans as unforgiving. Personally, I've never found that word fair. The jeans are not being cruel. They're simply being truthful. And truth, especially in design, can feel uncomfortable before it becomes liberating. Once you understand that, you stop trying to hide inside your clothes. You begin composing them with intention. And from that moment forward, white jeans become far less intimidating and far more beautiful. Because the goal was never to make the jeans look expensive. The goal has always been to make the woman feel unmistakably herself. In the next chapter, we'll explore something even more surprising. The outfit doesn't begin with the jeans at all. It begins long before you ever decide to wear them. Whenever someone tells me I'm wearing my white jeans today, I quietly smile. Not because they're wrong, but because they've already started in the wrong place. A designer never begins with a single garment. A designer begins with an impression. Before a sketch touches paper, there's already a question waiting to be answered. How should this woman feel when she enters the room? Calm? Confident? Approachable? Sophisticated? That answer influences every decision that follows. The jeans simply arrive later. This is one of the quiet habits I've noticed in women whose style seems effortless. They rarely ask what goes with these white jeans. Instead, they ask something much more interesting. What story do I want my appearance to tell today? The difference may sound small. It isn't. Because the first question leads you to match clothes. The second leads you to compose an image. Imagine you're getting dressed for a relaxed outdoor lunch with old friends. One approach begins with the jeans, then comes the blouse, then the shoes, then the handbag. Everything is chosen one piece at a time. The result may be perfectly acceptable, but it often feels assembled. Now imagine beginning differently. You picture a woman who looks refreshed without trying, elegant without appearing formal, comfortable without looking careless. Only then do you ask yourself which jacket belongs to that image, which shoes continue that feeling, which handbag quietly supports it. And finally, which pair of jeans completes the composition? Notice what happened. The white jeans were never leading the outfit. They were serving it. This is exactly why certain women always appear polished, even when they're wearing the simplest clothes imaginable. Their wardrobe isn't making decisions. They are. And this is where style quietly separates itself from fashion. Fashion asks, what's new? Style asks, what belongs? That single question has guided some of the finest designers for generations. It has also saved countless women from buying beautiful clothes that never truly belonged together. As the years pass, this way of thinking becomes even more valuable. Because mature elegance isn't built by adding more. It's built by editing with greater intention. And once you begin dressing from the impression, instead of the individual garment, something remarkable happens. Even the simplest white jeans begin to look as though they were made especially for you. In our next chapter, we'll uncover why white jeans seem to make some women look unexpectedly heavy, even when the fit is technically correct. The answer has almost nothing to do with the jeans themselves. One of the greatest misconceptions in fashion is that color creates visual weight. It doesn't. At least, not in the way most people imagine. I've seen women blame white jeans for making them look larger, when the jeans were quietly doing exactly what they had been designed to do. The real culprit was everything surrounding them. Design teaches you to follow the eye. Because the eye always tells the truth. It moves, it pauses, it searches for harmony. And every unnecessary interruption makes an outfit feel heavier than it truly is. Now picture two women wearing nearly identical white jeans. The first chooses an oversized cardigan that falls below the hips, thick athletic sneakers, a large tote bag, and several bold accessories competing for attention. Nothing is technically wrong, each piece is attractive on its own, yet together, the eye keeps stopping, at the hem, at the shoes, at the necklace, at the handbag. The outfit asks the viewer to process too many conversations at once. Now imagine another woman. She wears a softly tailored knit, ending exactly where her proportions feel balanced. Her shoes are refined rather than bulky. Her handbag doesn't compete with the silhouette. Even her jewelry seems to whisper instead of speak. Nothing demands attention. Everything belongs. And suddenly, the white jeans appear lighter. Not because the fabric changed, because the visual journey became uninterrupted. This sounds almost invisible, yet it is one of the oldest principles in design. When the eye travels smoothly, elegance feels effortless. When the eye keeps stopping, the outfit begins to feel heavy, regardless of the woman's size. And this is where so many mature women become unfairly discouraged. They think their body has changed. Often, what really changed was the rhythm of the outfit. The wonderful news is that rhythm can always be redesigned. You don't need a smaller size. You don't need a younger body. You simply need fewer visual interruptions. The women whose style seems timeless have understood this for years. They don't dress to impress the mirror. They dress to guide the eye. Once you understand that quiet distinction, white jeans stop feeling intimidating. They become one of the easiest pieces in your wardrobe to build around. In our next chapter, I'd like to show you something that luxury houses have quietly practiced for decades. The most sophisticated outfits rarely feel full. They feel spacious. Years ago, a young designer asked me a question I'll never forget. What makes an outfit look expensive? He expected me to name a fabric. Perhaps silk, perhaps cashmere, perhaps the perfect shade of ivory. Instead, I answered with a single word: space. He looked disappointed, as though I had refused to share the real secret. But I had just given him the one lesson that took me decades to understand. The world's finest designers know that elegance is created as much by what is absent as by what is present. Music needs silence. Architecture needs light. A beautiful painting needs empty canvas. And an elegant outfit needs room to breathe. This is where white jeans become such extraordinary teachers, because they immediately expose visual clutter. Too many layers, too many oversized shapes, too many accessories trying to earn attention, too many textures arguing with one another. The eye becomes tired before it ever discovers the woman. Now imagine the opposite. A beautifully cut white jean, a soft knit with graceful drape, one refined leather belt, one structured handbag, a simple pair of loafers. Nothing is missing, yet nothing is excessive. Every piece allows the next one to exist peacefully. That quiet generosity is what luxury feels like. Not because luxury is minimal, but because luxury is intentional. And this is where many wardrobes slowly lose their elegance. Every year, another scarf, another statement necklace, another oversized bag, another fashionable layer. None of them seem like mistakes on their own. But together, they leave no room for the woman to breathe. I've often believed that truly sophisticated women become more elegant as they buy less, not because they own fewer beautiful things, but because they become much more selective about what deserves to stay. That discipline creates calm, and calm has always been one of the rarest forms of beauty. The next time you put on white jeans, don't ask yourself whether the outfit needs one more accessory. Ask yourself a far more revealing question: what could I remove so that people notice me instead? You may be surprised how often the answer is exactly what your wardrobe has been waiting for. In our next chapter, we'll discover the nearly invisible difference between looking comfortably relaxed and quietly careless. It's a distinction that changes everything after 60. There is a phrase I hear quite often: I just want to be comfortable. Every time I hear it, I find myself asking a silent question: comfort for whom? For your body or for your habits? Because those are rarely the same thing. The most elegant women I've known have never sacrificed comfort. They've simply refused to confuse comfort with surrender. Now this is where the conversation becomes interesting. Imagine two women leaving home on a Saturday morning. Both are wearing white jeans. Both have chosen a soft sweater. Both are wearing comfortable flats. Neither is trying to impress anyone. Yet one woman looks quietly refined. The other looks as though she stopped making decisions halfway through getting dressed. What changed? Very little. One sweater falls naturally because it was adjusted before she walked out the door. The other remains twisted from the way it came off the hanger. One sleeve is rolled with intention. The other was pushed up without a second thought. One pair of shoes is clean, softly polished, and well cared for. The other carries yesterday's dust without anyone noticing consciously. One handbag keeps its shape. The other has collapsed under years of unnecessary contents. Individually, these details seem almost meaningless. Collectively, they create a powerful impression. This is the language of refinement. It is spoken quietly, and that is exactly why so few people recognize it. Now here's something I've believed for many years. Most people cannot explain why one woman appears elegant and another simply appears dressed. But they feel the difference immediately. That feeling comes from consistency. When every detail shares the same intention, the eye relaxes. The woman appears composed before she ever speaks. That is never an accident. It is the result of small decisions repeated over time. White jeans simply happen to reveal those decisions more clearly than darker fabrics. So don't chase perfection. Perfection has never been the goal. Instead, cultivate awareness. Pause for one final glance before leaving home. Straighten the sweater. Brush the shoes. Lighten the handbag. Take one deep breath. Stand a little taller. Sometimes elegance isn't created by adding anything at all. Sometimes it arrives the moment you stop rushing. And in our final chapter, I'd like to leave you with the one lesson I wish every woman understood before she ever bought another pair of white jeans. There is one question I've been asked for years. Can a woman over 60 still wear white jeans? Every time I hear it, I notice something curious. No one ever asks, can I still wear confidence? Or, can I still wear grace? Yet those are the very things people remember. Not long ago, I attended a private presentation where several women walked through the room wearing remarkably simple clothing. Nothing dramatic. No extravagant jewelry. No complicated styling. Just beautifully balanced outfits. As the evening ended, someone beside me whispered, "She looked extraordinary." I smiled and asked, "Which part of her outfit are you remembering?" There was a long silence, because there wasn't one. No one remembered her sweater. No one mentioned her handbag. No one even talked about her trousers. What they remembered was the woman. That moment has stayed with me ever since. It reminded me that the highest purpose of clothing is not to become memorable. It is to remove every obstacle standing between you and the person you already are. White jeans teach this lesson beautifully. They never ask to become the center of attention. They simply ask every other piece in the outfit to work together. When they do, something remarkable happens. People stop seeing white jeans. They begin seeing confidence, ease, warmth, presence. This is the quiet secret shared by women whose style never seems to age. They don't dress to make an entrance. They dress so nothing interrupts their presence once they've arrived. That is why I've never believed white jeans belong to a particular decade of life. A garment cannot decide your age. Only your intentions can. And perhaps the greatest compliment a woman can receive is not, "I love your white jeans," but rather, "You looked wonderful today." Because in that moment, the clothes have disappeared, and the woman has finally become unforgettable. Before we part ways, I'd like to leave you with one simple thought. Tomorrow morning, when you open your closet and your hand reaches toward those white jeans, pause. Not to question your age, not to question your body, and certainly not to wonder what someone else might think. Instead, ask yourself one quiet question. Does this outfit allow people to see me, or only my clothes? I've always believed that this single question separates dressing from styling, because dressing is about putting garments on your body. Styling is about revealing your character without saying a word. That is why timeless elegance never feels loud. It doesn't compete. It doesn't perform. It doesn't ask for approval. It simply feels honest. If today's conversation changed the way you think about white jeans, even in the smallest way, I would truly love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what was the one idea that stayed with you the longest? Was it the importance of balance, the beauty of visual space, or the realization that your clothes should support your presence rather than replace it? Your thoughts inspire many of the conversations we have here on Evergrace Style, and I always enjoy reading them. And if you believe style should become richer with age, not louder with trends, I hope you'll subscribe and join me again, because in our next conversation, we'll uncover another wardrobe piece that countless women quietly stop wearing, not because it stopped being beautiful, but because no one ever showed them how to see it differently. Until then, wear your white jeans if they bring you joy. Wear them with intention. Wear them with ease. And remember this: the most elegant woman in any room is rarely the one wearing the most unforgettable outfit. She's the one people never forget long after the outfit itself has faded from memory.